Okay, I can't make this stuff up. And then there was a face in our table. It's just a smart way to do it, isn't it, guys?
Yep.
That problem solved for tonight. I don't have to worry about them getting in the countertops. All right, guys, check out this kitchen. We redid this thing all today. My wife, Frankie, and myself poured over this live edge, got this all done, and then Frankie left on his birthday, went out and had fun, and my wife and I came through and we did this countertop. We've never done this before. This is absolutely brand new to all of us working with this material, and we're just gonna take you along for the ride today. It's gonna be pretty fun. And we screwed up 4 or 5 times, but the day's not over yet. So we may still find other things where we messed up. We're gonna share it all. But let's just do it. Let's get into it. So we start today's project with an 8-foot slab of black walnut that strategically has some holes all the way through. And I say strategically, well, we didn't put them in, but I picked out a slab that had holes so that we could optimize that and do something cool with it. All right, let's reveal the wood. Just got to get a wet washcloth. This has to be done for the next step. Oh, here we go. Now I call this revealing the wood because when you get it wet, it'll give you an indicator of what it'll look like after the finished product is done. And I mean an indicator very loosely. Actually, when the final product is on and done, it looks way better in real life. But this step is necessary because I've got to get all of the dust, dirt, and debris completely removed from the wood before I can pour down the next step. Okay, so the plan is going to be the wifey and I.
Hey.
She's having fun with tape. She's really going to town with that tape. Well, you give her tape, and she just has a blast. Look at this.
Look at this go.
This is Nikki's tape job. And Frankie's going to be working on this half, and what we're going to do is we're going to have this be a peekaboo see-through, so these holes go all the way through. So we're gonna fill that up. And so we're gonna do 2 projects at the same time. We're gonna pour this in clear, and then we're gonna color code this half right here. And why not do 2 at the same time when we've never worked or done this before? I mean, that's just a smart way to do it, isn't it, guys?
Yep. Let's see what happens.
We'll find out. Okay, in full disclosure, we are complete amateurs at this, so this is just going to be an experiment, and we're just going to have a little bit of fun. God, look how thick that is. That's thick. Buckets.
Getting close to 32. Not
No,
yet.
we want
Gotta go
64.
64.
We gotta waste it.
Okay.
Now, if you guys are just tuning in, we're using Stone Coat Countertops Part A and Part B epoxy resin. Now, we used colors to create our countertop, which you see behind me, but in this case, we're using the exact same material with no color, just as a clear resin finish. Those holes are going to eat up a lot of our resin. I'd almost just let the bucket sit right upside down right in that area, right? Yeah, I'm going to start troweling this out.
Okay. You want to try not to push too much off to the sides. We can brush that on.
I think it's just gonna spread that way, maybe.
What?
Doesn't smell.
No, not like that other stuff, dude.
Nope.
Not have enough on the end.
Ooh, no, this is the thumbnail right here, Dan. Give me this one. Right there, thumbnail. Yep. Now we've got to eliminate the bubbles as they release from the resin as the product is curing, and either a torch or a heat gun will do it. But what we found is that the torch works much better. You've just got to be careful that you don't scald the wood underneath, but it doesn't move around the epoxy resin nearly as much as a heat gun, and it disperses the bubbles much faster. Just be careful that you don't burn your epoxy resin or the countertop below it by concentrating that heat torch in any one spot for too long. All right, guys, tell me if this is a little odd, but I was just like, hey, Nick, take a look at this, at the design here. She looks and she's like, there's a face in our table. And then there was a face in our table. And then there's a rib cage. Yep, that is interesting. Or am I just seeing things? Okay, I can't make this stuff up. Wet countertops, and now there's a bat in the house. And the last thing I want is for that thing to land on any of these surfaces. Okay, it's a big bat too. Oh, it's right there. It's legitimately right there. Well, you know what? You can stay there. There we go. That problem solved for tonight. I don't have to worry about them getting in the countertops. And over here, we've got the live edge. All done. Wrapped up. Did screw up on this, but we're not quite done with this project yet. The material is so forgiving. So these holes go all the way through and they settled down. And so I got a little bit too cocky with the material, too comfortable, because it's so forgiving. So I just decided to feather in a little bit. And I was like, oh, I can blend that. I got this. No, I didn't got this. So I'm going to sand this down and I'll do a second flood coat over the whole thing. It's actually not a big deal. I got a mistake that is in there, and I'm so comfortable working with this material, it's not that tough. In the afternoon, I could have this completely just perfect with very minimum work. Scuff coat. So there's the kitchen, you guys. Let me know what you think. Complete amateurs and working with my wife, which her and I work together a little bit like oil and water, but we got her all done. And these are our results. It may not be for you, but the beauty part is you can make whatever you want for you. I mean, you can create anything you want. This is, of all the epoxy resin projects I've done, because we did our countertops at home with Live Edge, we did a sink, we've done a number of other ones. This was our first time working with this material. Absolutely the best material, hands down. No comparison. I would gladly start tackling more projects with this stuff, just knowing how forgiving it is. I mean, it's just designed for guys that don't know what they're doing to get good looking results. Guys like me that should maybe stay playing in the dirt, but like to have a little fun, well, you can still come out with something pretty cool. And I hope whatever you're working out turns out really cool as well. Now, if you guys are gonna tackle something like this, I learned everything online at Stone Coat Countertops YouTube channel. I then went to their website, their frequently asked questions pages. I found everything. I went out right there. I just legitimately learned it all by watching his videos over and over and just soaking it all in. So many different ways you can do these, and none of them are wrong. They just work together. It's just the wildest material that it's so forgiving it allows you to do this. Frankie and I did another one with a different product, and we lost it. It destroyed itself, heated up, made the undercoat bubble, did this, that, and the other thing. And so we got a little bit gun shy on using epoxy resin and haven't used it since that incident. We have not, neither one of us have done anything with it. Now I think both of us are gonna start to do a lot more of them. Hey Frankie, quick question for you. What do you think of using this product compared to the other stuff we used before?
I thought this was easier to work with just because we had more working time.
Yeah.
And it seemed to be a little thicker and stuff. It didn't run like the other stuff did.
This was so much more forgiving. I mean,
Yeah.
just even the mixing process.
Right.
I mean, everything from start to finish, soup to nuts, it was just
Easier.
way easier.
Yeah. To me it was.
To me it was too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking I'm going to order 4 more gallons just to have some on hand.
Yeah, because there's always things you can do with it, you know, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with the acute supply shortages.
Yep.
Put your order in now.
put your order in now before there's nothing left. Right now?
Oh, you want to help with that log at all?
Sure. Whatever you need.
Well, I was going to say, I'm going to got a chainsaw to cut it to length, or somewhat of the length, stand it up in there.
All right, Frankie, we're going to be moving these 2 logs inside, full logs, going up as character pieces. So if you guys want to see that adventure, let me know in the comments down below. He's been working under there for a week. A lot longer. God bless. Go get him, you guys. We'll see you on the next one. So I'm a firm believer of putting your money where your mouth is. And if you're going to say something, well, you know what? Just show it and do it instead. So in the very next video coming down the pipeline, where I screwed this countertop up, I'm going to show you step by step what actions I take to fix it. Now the screw ups on that countertop were twofold. One is the epoxy resin actually dipped down. So we actually have a board underneath that hole below that black walnut edge. And what that does is that captures all of the resin from leaking straight through. And our plan is after that resin is all fully cured, we're going to pop that board off, put a light underneath, and you're going to be able to see the light come up from below the countertop. Well, that's the plan. But what happened is the board that we screwed underneath the black walnut countertop actually had its own holes in it and wasn't perfectly sealed. So some of that epoxy resin dripped down, creating a divot in the top of our countertop. That's a big no-no. We didn't want that. So we got that fixed, but in the very next video, we're going to show you how we fixed the screw up where, well, the second screw up was where I tried to feather in over that dip and level it all out with material from 2 different pours at 2 different stages, 2 different ages of curing, and I messed it up. Let's just say that. I didn't time it right. So in the very next video, I'm going to show you everything it takes just to fix my bubbles on the top and my dip in the wood and everything else that I screwed up. And it turns out amazing. It turns out amazing. I mean, I'm glad I screwed it up because it allowed me to do what's called a finish coat on it. And that finish coat just made that even pop more. I mean, the depth of the wood itself was insane. It was incredible. And I want to share that process with you. So coming right down the pipeline is going to be that video. And then we're back into heavy equipment. We're back into construction. We're back into snow plowing. We're back into all the things that you guys tune into this channel for. But every now and then, I like to just try different things. I mean, variety is the spice of life, right? I think that's from the movie Dune. It just means don't be afraid to try something new once in a while, because that's where growth occurs. It doesn't occur when you're comfortable and complacent. It occurs when you push yourself outside of your comfort zone and you're willing to try something completely different. And that's what we did with this one, and I hope you guys enjoy this process, including all of the things that we learned along the way that weren't quite right. That's it for this one. God bless you guys. Go get them, and we will catch you guys on the next one. And you guys can see how we fix up our screw up.